I'm going to talk today about the instinct to protect people when you have avoidant personality disorder, which another cat. Anyway, I've actually gotten quite a lot of blowback from people about this. First of all, my favorite theorist, joke, Cantor, however you pronounce his name, whatever. The guy's an idiot. He says that the worst thing about having avoidant personality disorder is your quote-unquote victims. Your victims are the people who would be interacting with you, except that you won't let them. First of all, give me a break, because what my response to that is again, I'm protecting them. They're not my victims. I'm saving them from having to deal with my crap. And having to deal with me coming and going. Although I'm not the type of person who comes and goes, really. There's a possibility of it. There's a possibility. It's really funny. When I'm on my outs, like I need a break, you know what? I usually will contact the person I'm on the outs with like once a day saying, it's not you, it's me, I'm not dead. So I'm like on the outs, but not really at all. And when I go for good, I'm gone for good. I don't come back. But there is sort of, that's a thing that people do, and they get overwhelmed and they've got to go. And plus all the sort of, I mean, it's beyond disbelief. It's just like you're incredulous that somebody wants to have anything to do with you. You're just like, you're not that damaged. What the hell are you doing talking to me for? That sort of thing. Mistrust, etc. Why would I put anybody through that? When I finally got my diagnosis and found out what was happening, which is going on 10 years now, I tried to actively be friends with people. With the avoidance in mind. So that I mean, all the worst instincts that I had, I knew what they were, I knew what they were about. I didn't listen to the fabulous Evelyn thoughts, as was talking about yesterday. I really confronted them, and still didn't work. And so I went the other way, and that's basically where I am now, which is I've taken myself out of the game, basically. I very much don't want to involve people, because I knew there was a problem before, and now I know there's a problem now, but I also know there's really nothing I can do about it. I gave it my best shot. It did not work. So therefore, I know how it's going to end if I get anybody in my life. So to be a decent person, I talked about this before. I feel like I can't have people in my life because it will be one-sided. It will be um, a massive disappointment and a waste of their time. And I don't see how there is no way that I could make up for the absolute definite pain and disappointment I will put them through. There is no way to counteract that. It's like, okay, when you're trying to diet, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. It's the same thing. You could eat garbage, but the number of hours of intense exercise you'd have to put in to make up for it. It's not going to work. You have to eat better food from the start. That's all there is to it. It's the same way with me interacting with people. The massive negative will not ever overcome whatever tiny amount of positive they could get out of it. Now, there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I avoid people because of how they're going to treat me. And I'm like, they're going to reject me, so I reject them first. Okay. I mean, I get that. I think that's remarkably selfish. Maybe that's what Canner's talking about. Maybe. I don't know. Because, see, and then I get people that come around and say, well, you're not really protecting the other people, you're protecting yourself. How about you drop this little save the world fantasy that you've got going on? I don't know. I don't know. I think that that's common, though. I think that's maybe a phase in the avoidance. That the primary level is you have to protect yourself, and then if you can somehow get your self-esteem sort of turned around, if you can confront that idea that all people are going to be terrible to you and you will be rejected at all points. You can hear that cat. Sorry. Anyway, I think that the next level is then, again, I don't like selfish people. I think it's really obvious if you look at my other videos. I think that's just not right to be a selfish person. So it's kind of a slam to say that avoiding people is a way of being selfish, which is what Cantor says. But then Cantor's full of crap, because again, here's the logic. Okay, let's say that I'm not trying to protect myself, and I go out there and interact with people, which, I mean, hi, you see this video? What do you think I'm doing right now is putting myself out there for rejection. Anyway, but then, people have to deal with me. So that's why I'm saying I think that that's sort of like the first level. That's like the shrink wrap around the product. Now, do I think that all avoidant people have a terrible effect on other people? Again, this is the, see, it's all coming around. You know, this is the self-fulfilling prophecy type thing. You know, that's not exactly the same, but if, you know, if you have low self-esteem, you will be rejecting of positivity because you won't think you deserve it. You will be mistrustful of it, and therefore you will, you know, at that point be no good for the other people that are around you. I'm shaking a lot because this cat wants to be pet. Anyway, I don't think there's any way around it. I think that it protects people to keep them from having to deal with my crap. And I think that that's kind of the opposite of being selfish. Even though again, I mean, if you listen to the experts, then it's selfish not to give of oneself. And again, I'm like, yeah, but if you're giving pure crap, that's not giving. That's dumping garbage on somebody. Now, again, I feel bad about putting this out here because I don't want other avoidant people to relate to that. Okay? Not my point. My point is, again, you can confront that, especially, you know, if you're not that seeded into it. I mean, there are people with new diagnosis. My understanding is that you can change your personality. Even if you have a personality disorder, you can adjust it until you're almost 30 years old. So if you're like 24 and you have a new diagnosis, you can make progress. So do that. And if you're old like me, I'm really sorry that I'm not in any way, shape, or form giving you hope. Although I'm kind of validating the avoiding other people part and staying away. Because it does get to the point where, you know, initially it's like, I'm doing everything out of fear and I'm not thinking, you know, oh my God, these people are going to reject me, therefore I can't. Well, it's not entirely fear, self-absorption. It's also, if you're like me, it is protecting people to avoid people. This one's really sad and depressing. I'm sorry, people. I'll try better tomorrow.